Okay, so you know how I said at the start of the Mega Man 4 video that I didn't know how well the rest of the series went? Well, that was kind of a lie. Mega Man 6, as far as I can tell anyways, is the one that basically everybody agrees was great. It's probably the least hated Mega Man game of them all, and definitely one of the best on the NES. Mega Man 6 is also perhaps the most interesting in the NES Saga, not for being one of the most influential titles in the franchise, but for its placement within the Mega Man series as a whole. Some preconceived fans will already know what I'm talking about. It's a game called, Mega Man X. X is considered to be the best of the best when it comes to Mega Man, and while I think its title as the end-all be-all Mega Man game is somewhat challenged today, it's undoubtedly a smash hit for the series, not only standing as a critical darling of Mega Man as a whole, but for arguably being the second most iconic game in the series. To this day, it remains one of the few Mega Man titles to actually surpass 1 million copies in sales. It's what put the series on the map for so many people, and it didn't even have that much in common with the classic series. And the X series would slowly overtake the classic series in prominence. This puts Mega Man 6 in quite the interesting spot, as Mega Man 6 is a decisive downgrade compared to Mega Man X. The game went back to the series' roots as a simple platformer, but these were some dry-ass roots. Mega Man 4 was a good game that felt tried and true compared to the prior games, but my burnout really started with Mega Man 5, which if you recall, legitimately had me run out of ideas in the script. It's an ultimately fine game, but stillness, as well as the fact that it just wasn't as good as what came before it, had many critics ultimately write it off as an okay game at best. A reception that has persisted to this day. As I said in the intro, Mega Man 6 is more liked than Mega Man 5 by a wide margin, with it being a fan favorite in the classic series, at least on the basis that it was more celebrated than Mega Man 5. So with this preconceived reception, let me ask, where do I stand on Mega Man 6? Does it stack up to 2 and 4, or does it fall more in line with 3 and 5? And ultimately, does it even matter given its title as the final Mega Man game on the NES? Well, let's see. This is my take on Mega Man 6. Actually, right off the bat, I can praise Mega Man 6 for one thing. The story is actually kinda different. So basically, a year or so after Mega Man 5, god, do these things just canonically happen annually or something? The Global Robot Alliance program emerges for the sake of keeping the peace in the world, and to determine the strongest robot to combat Wily's rampage, the organization holds the first annual robot tournament, organized by the mysterious Mr. X. Mega Man doesn't compete in the tournament, but instead spectates the event, and only to find out that X is a con man, hijacking all the robots and allegedly manipulating Dr. Wily from the very beginning. Not a super big change of pace for the Mega Man stories, but there's one cool little thing I should mention. See, I've never really talked about the robots themselves, because they're all very prototypical for their names. You know, Cutman got the big scissors, Quickman is the knockoff Flash, Toadman is Toadman, so on and so forth. But Mega Man 6, while not the first game to establish the design contest, is the first game in the series to have international winners of the contest. This contest has technically been running since Mega Man 2, but I felt the need to bring it up now because of the international theming in Mega Man 6. Disappointingly, this tradition did not survive past Mega Man 8, but if any Capcom staff are watching this, I'm gonna present my idea right now. 3, 2, 1. Anyways, this fact has greater prevalence in Mega Man 6 because it's the first game in the series to really place a lot of emphasis on your environments. Technically, every Mega Man game has been this sort of round trip, but Mega Man 6 really places a lot of emphasis on this aspect. The Sunset and Tomahawk Man stage, the Frozen City and Blizzard Man stage, a Fortress and Yamato Man stage, so on and so forth. It's really cool that they were able to get more international fans on board. So, yeah, that's a cool aspect. But zeusdeegoose Fun Facts is out. Tune in back at 9 o'clock for more news. So if I told you that Mega Man 6 had similar gameplay to its predecessors, would you believe me? Well, you'd be right, but only partially. Structurally, Mega Man 6 is very close to home for Mega Man, arguably a borderline rehash in some regards, but with a few notable improvements. For one, Mega Man 6 is no longer ridiculously easy. Mega Man 6 makes two crucial changes which make the game fundamentally harder. The first one is that the charge shot has been forever nerfed into minus infinity. Enemies simply aren't as susceptible to the charge shot as they were prior, and you still lose the charge shot upon taking damage, which I never liked for the record, but it was definitely needed to at least somewhat balance the charge shot in 5. And at the very least, these changes don't make the charge shot completely irrelevant. It's just as useful as it was in Mega Man 5, just less good. You're still relying on this thing nearly 24/7. But more importantly, is that the far overtuned item drops in 5 have also been burnt to the ground. Now there's definitely still plenty of goodies to go around if you do a bit of exploring, but relatively speaking, Mega Man 6 keeps your resources a bit more limited, and that's completely fine. The game is still pretty light for Mega Man standards, and it isn't Dick Kick City, like a certain specific game, but that's in the near future. Jokes aside, Mega Man 6 tends to pull his punches less than Mega Man 5. And as I said, that's perfectly fine, but for God's sakes, who thought of this damn jump? It's near frame perfect in execution. Outside of the core mechanics making the game more difficult though, a great deal as to why Mega Man 6 is better than 5 is the vastly improved level design and difficulty. I cannot state this enough. Mega Man 6, get this, has a good balance between being pretty difficult and pathetically easy, which makes the game a bit more relaxed by Mega Man standards, but makes the experience laid back and enjoyable. If you're worried about crunching your controller, fear not. Mega Man 6 will usually keep your fingers off the rewind button, usually. I mean, in terms of getting from point A to point B, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's a super hard stage out of the roster, but a lot of them keep playing around with some interesting challenges. And out of all of them, I'd have to say my favorite was Flame Man stage. This stage, you have oil on the floor, and if it catches fire from the enemies, touching it is an instant reset. But if you kill the enemy before it can spew fire, it'll make your path much safer to traverse. It's a concept that kept me on my toes, but if you manage to get a fire-free run, it feels pretty badass. Mega Man 6 also has the best thing. See, in prior games you got new rush abilities and other support items for beating certain stages, but these were almost entirely nixed, not even rush coil remains. But in their place lies what makes Mega Man 6 stand out so far from the rest. Say hello to the rush adapters. Much like the rush abilities from the prior games, these are earned upon defeating bosses, and they serve as complete replacements for the rush weapons. Also worth noting is that Flame Man is generally considered to be the best starting stage in Mega Man 6, and Plant Man isn't too far off from that either, so you can actually get some pretty decent power from the get-go. Defeating Fireman gives you the Rush Power Adapter, which transforms Mega Man's Great Buster into short-range boxing gloves, which can break over blocks and also has respectable damage for its short range. But a pretty big crippling point is the fact that it can't pierce shields, which does kind of suck admittedly. Getting your attack blocked isn't too uncommon in Mega Man, but given the damage output in close range nature, I don't know, it might have been too overpowered or whatever, but since when has Mega Man never had overpowered weapons and strategies? As a result, I never really use this weapon. It's a neat novelty, but nothing that the Buster can't get done in a few more shots. Thankfully though, I do have more favorable opinions on the Rush Jet adapter, and true to its name, gives you the ability to hover for a few seconds, which is pretty useful, but this thing goes pretty damn high. It's worth mentioning that Mega Man 6 heavily promotes exploration, kind of like Mega Man X in a way. You see, Mega Man typically has you going from point A to point B. You go through the level, perhaps fighting the slightest diversion and paths for some sweet goodies, kill the boss, and then go home. But Mega Man 6 is the first, and to my memory, only game in the series to have two split paths from the level, at least in the classic series. Now Mega Man 4 did have those adapters, but I don't count those, seeing as though they just sent you to the next checkpoint once you collected them. No, Mega Man 6 offers two distinctive paths to the boss for a handful of its stages. The main route will give you a standard path, but an anomaly among the modern Mega Man games, it'll let you replay the stage. But if you use the adapters while you're in a pinch, you can access a new few paths. These are pretty obvious to spot once you come across them, but once you take them, you take a slight detour, progressing towards a different boss door, and upon their defeat you get a beat letter. Since there's 4 letters this time around, you can actually get beat as soon as 6 stages in, 2 extra for the adapters, which is actually a pretty nice upgrade from Mega Man 5, because in that game, beat was practically exclusive to the Wily stages. The only other trade-off here is that, while beat is once again something very nice to have, he's not essential in the slightest. Compounded with the fact that no bosses are weak to beat this time around, which is really odd in hindsight. That doesn't make them terrible or anything, but it's questionable given that most of the Wily stages had enemies weak to beat in 5. I guess they wanted you to focus on the stage use a bit more, and he's still pretty good in that regard, but I don't know. Come to think of it though, there's actually another one-off item, which is accessed with, you guessed it, the rush adapters. In Tomahawk Man stage, there's a breakable block on the normal path which grants you access to the oh so elusive energy balancer. After you get it, if your currently equipped weapon is full of energy, it'll give that energy to the weapon with the least amount of energy, which actually is pretty useful, I can't lie. I can't recall how many times I've had to kill enemies to grind for weapon energy in the prior and future games, then swap back to the weapon I wanted, and then go back to the weapon I was using to grind more energy. Granted, I'm not hot swapping weapons all the time in Mega Man 6, so for me, it only really comes into play with Wily stages, but even then, it's still better to have than not have it. But with that last minuscule upgrade, that's actually pretty much everything new in Mega Man 6. Like I said in the intro, Mega Man 6 is not a do-over to the series formula, unlike its contemporary Mega Man X. It simply builds off where Mega Man 5 left off, and it does its job far better than Mega Man 5. I mean, hey, no bonus cameos in the video, that's a plus. Mega Man 6 stands its ground as its own game, and it has its own identity to warrant recommending it to newcomers of the series. But irregardless of the game's identity, one thing never changes in Mega Man, Classic or X, and it's the final stages. And rather disappointingly, this is the one area where Mega Man 6 just kind of falls flat. Much like its predecessor, the Mr. X stages, or so they call it, are just as boring as they were in their predecessor, Mega Man 5. The stages are way too linear for their own good, and they don't really have a ton of interesting stuff going on in terms of pure platforming. Seriously, the only times that I feel the levels have some sort of depth are the times where they give you alternate paths. And while that does kind of go against my these levels are too linear and boring point, these points are so few and far between that they feel like more of a footnote more than anything else. The first level has this one oh, god damn it, not again. Seriously, I know I pulled this joke earlier on, but this one f***ing obstacle took me over 5 minutes, and that was with me eventually giving up and using save states at some point. Hell, god forbid you die in the room itself, because for your hard work, you get a room with a few enemies and an instant kill spike trap to boot. Frustrations aside, the reward itself actually isn't that shabby. You get a shortcut straight to the boss door alongside a few energy pickups and even some lives. Now, for a veteran like me who can beat most of these games with little trouble, is it worth it? Not exactly, but hey, seeing this room was cool at least. And yeah, that's really the only thing I can say about these stages. They aren't crazy tough or anything, but they certainly are levels, and they're not good ones at that. Oh, and stop me if you heard this before. Dr. Wily ends up being the true villain, and these levels ended up being all for naught. As much as things change, they stay the same. Nice typo there, by the way. And sadly, the small change in scenery doesn't really do much to improve the levels this time around. The bosses really don't hold that much weight either. The best fight in either of these final sets of stages is this one robot against the wall. It climbs up and down the wall, but meanwhile rocks are falling and you have to position your shots while also avoiding damage from the rocks. It can actually be pretty hard because you're trying to damage the robot at the same time while also trying not to get hit yourself. And sure, the silver tomahawk is the weakness of this fight, but it's not a complete cheese. This fight is a legitimate challenge, and it's actually pretty satisfying once you get the rhythm down. But the rest of fights, wow, these just do nothing for me. There's no real strategy to these guys, and they don't really give you any major challenge other than simply not getting hit, which in these cases is usually pretty easy. Except this one fucking dragon fight, with his eyes being the sole weak point. And he spams fireballs too, so have fun getting knocked off 5 times without being able to fire a single shot on the boss. I know it's a bit of a trope for me to complain about the Wily stages, but I bring them up because no one talks about how bare bones they can be at times. No diss to Eggman YouTubers or anything, you guys are the reason I'm here after all. But am I the only one that thinks that the Wily stages could be kind of a drag? Oh, and this is all without saying that the Wily fight is also really easy, and honestly anticlimactic given the nature of this being the last Mega Man game on the NES. Even without weaknesses, it's wildly easy to avoid his attacks, and the 3-phase finale is easily defeated with a tomahawk either way. It's not really hard to avoid his counterfire if you run away and shoot at him, doubly so for the 3rd phase, and there's virtually no risk of getting hit by Wily here. Just tomahawk him to death, no problem. And with that, the day is saved. Whoa, hold up here. Where the hell has law enforcement been this entire time? You're telling me after nearly 50 robots back to back that they finally got fed up and arrested Wily? Better late than never, I guess. Mega Man 6 is a nice little swan song for the NES Saga, and one of the best games within it to boot. It's well-rounded in what it sets out to do, with only a few minute flaws holding it back from the peaks of Mega Man 2 and 4. With a very solid lineup of stages, welcome additions to the Mega Man formula, its great improvements over Mega Man 5, and just all-around being a fun game in general, Mega Man 6 is nothing short of great time. Not a game you'll see me ranking at the top of my favorites in the Mega Man series, but I did enjoy my time with Mega Man 6 overall, and I think you will too. Now, foregoing my usual conclusion, I think since we're done with the NES games, we'll do a quick ranking of the series thus far. So let's start off with the ones that everyone agrees were awesome. From best to worst, we got Mega Man 2, Mega Man 4, and Mega Man 6. Mega Man 2, it's just that NES game, you know? Maybe not the best of the NES, but definitely ranking around the top 10. It's the one that everyone played, it's the one that defined what the series is today. So there's no doubt in my mind that Mega Man 2 is one of the greatest Mega Man games of all time. And despite its age, I actually feel it holds up pretty great today. While I wouldn't say it's the best quality-wise of the series, I'd be hard-pressed to say it wasn't one of the best due to its sheer influence on Mega Man today. But the next two, Mega Man 4 and Mega Man 6, are in a similar vein. They took steps forward from their predecessors while also maintaining a pretty fun gameplay loop. They're not too hard or easy, and their level design is great. Based on who you are, I could see 6 being above 4, but regardless, you should check them out if you're looking for the NES's best games. And now we get into the worst half. From best to worst, I'd say 1, 5, and 3 in that order. I do enjoy all of these titles for the record, but 3 honestly just isn't that fun to me overall. It's the one I consistently had the least fun with between my 3 playthroughs, 1 for the video, and the 2 others just for fun. For the video, I came out a whole lot more impressed with 3. It bumped the game enough to a solid 7 out of 10 for me. But it's hard to overlook the dumb as hell Doc Robo stages, which killed a lot of the hype for me. At least with 1 and 5, I think they're a bit more structurally sound, but with varying flaws. I still enjoy Mega Man 1 to a decent degree, even though I have major problems with it overall, but it's not impossible to derive enjoyment from it. Regardless though, there are some major problems that I have with it overall, and I can't overlook those. It's definitely not as bullshit as everyone says it is, but it also does have very bullshitty moments, I feel. It is the first game in the series and is actually pretty decent for that regard, but as a game itself, I don't know if I could recommend it to non-hardcore Mega Man fans, or even people just looking to start the series. It's a good game, just not one I'd recommend. And the same kind of applies to Mega Man 5 aside from it being the first game, which in my eyes kind of makes it inferior to Mega Man 1 in that respect. Boring levels, way too easy, it's just kind of a whatever game. Not the worst of them all, I definitely enjoyed it more than say Mega Man 3, but it's definitely nowhere near the best of the series. I think all these placements are somewhat debatable and I might flip-flop on one of them on occasion, so just know that. I don't think there is a definitive worst here, but there are definitely Mega Man games that I just don't like as playing as much as the others. As I said, all of these games are good, but not all of them are that great, if you know what I mean. But for the sake of the video, all that you should know is that Mega Man 6 stands among these great games rather comfortably, and revisiting it for the video was a pretty enjoyable time. Wait, to be continued? Oh, son of a bitch! Hey guys, it's Goose here. I just want to thank y'all for watching the video. Yes, I know it's been a long time. I've just been super busy as of late, so I hope the wait was worth it for you guys. I definitely want to get one more video before the year closes. So, outside of this video, I don't have a major new video I want to announce at the moment. If you've been watching my past videos, I've just been kind of repeating announcements, so, you know, NASP 2 is definitely on the way. I should probably work on that. I asked for that special guest audio in April, and I still have not gotten to it, so I will get to that as soon as possible. If this person is watching, I'm very sorry. I just never got to the video. I never finished it. But, outside of that, I had just had a major increased workload as of late. It's definitely a lot of schoolwork, just a lot of busy work, just keeping myself busy, to be honest. I don't know. I'm just working with the schedule as it comes, and I hope that it won't impact the channel too much at 2026. It definitely got us a little bit here, but I'm saying I'm working on new stuff always. I just spend a lot of my free time just writing stuff, even if it's, you know, not gonna make a final cut. So, yeah. Other than that, the last thing I want to say for this year is that I'm going to be doing a slight retouch up on the channel assets. So if you like this channel icon banner stuff, I'm sorry. If you hate it so much and you want to voice your displeasure, just yell at me in the comments or something. But other than that, that will do it for this video. Have a happy new year. I'm pretty sure this is the last video that's going up on this channel this year. And I also want to say, check out my second channel, not For Glory. I will probably get to updating that soon. But was it World's Biggest Duck Hunt Fan? That has more melee combo videos that I've been working pretty decently on, and I really like what I put out there. They're definitely a bit more on the simplistic side. They're not really super heavy edits like you might see on literally any other combo video. They're kind of supposed to be simplistic, but I think they're pretty entertaining myself, and I also had a lot of fun, you know, capturing them and just editing them, even if it's not that hard. So yeah, other than that, I really don't have much else to say. I hope you guys have a good New Year, good Christmas. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I've missed a lot of holidays, just too much. So for the last time this year, thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time for more goo.